Hello. Wait.
Oh, David! Have you been a good little boy this year, David?
I've been a good boy this year, Santa.
Well, come sit on my lap, David. I have some presents for you.
Oh, really?
Yes, come sit on my lap. Oh, you're so heavy, David, and you've been eating all of my cookies, I see. Anyway, I brought you a gift. If you'll just reach into my pocket, go on.
Santa, is this your cell phone you're plugging
This
out
isn't.
right now?
Nope, let me pull it out. Oh, this is a Nintendo Switch with a broken Joy-Con.
That's just what I wanted for Christmas, Santa.
I'm happy to oblige. My little piece of shit son refuses to take over the family business when he comes of age, so I'm giving all of his presents away to the less fortunate South American children, if you get what I'm saying. Ho, 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 ho.
You get this, Santa.
Anyway, I have to go to the next little boy and girl's house down the road. David, keep being a good boy now.
you,
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho.
God, I think you had a boner. I saw on his left. Anyway,
David?
welcome
David?
to
What?
what?
Are you there?
Hello? Hello?
What was that, Santa Claus?
Yeah, you just missed
I
him. You-
fucking missed him, dude. I was
Oh,
making
you're
a hot
taking a bone
pocket.
rip in the other room, dude.
Oh shit! I can't believe I fucking missed him. He
Yeah,
didn't even drop my
kinda
presents
didn't.
off. I must have been bad this year.
Yeah, he made me sit on his lap. It was kind of weird, actually.
Oh, yikes! Good. Maybe it's a good thing I wasn't here then.
Yeah. Anyway, what's up, dude? Episode 8 of the podcast. What is up?
What is up, David? I am so fucking.
I don't know,
excited
dude.
for this.
I feel like I've been in a coma for like the past week.
I know, right? It's the holidays, bro. Like
They came and went, really.
they really did, just like me. Anyway, David, I have got stories for you. I have been on
No,
many
you don't.
adventures over this break, this nice hiatus.
I haven't, so I'm ready to hear what's good.
Well, I returned home to my family in the sleepy town of somewhere in Tennessee, and
Oh, yes.
I tried many things for the first time. Namely, one thing that I would like to discuss with you. Rock
Alright.
climbing.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
I discovered the joy.
I saw you message something about this in our text group of Textness.
Dude, rock climbing is fucking amazing. Actually, okay, to be fair, for all the fucking rock heads out there, I went bouldering. I
Rockheads,
guess
fuck.
bouldering is what it's known as. I guess that's
Yeah.
like just it's climbing without the ropes, I guess, or the harness or whatever you call
So
it.
you were just straight up free climbing?
Yeah, bro, free climbing. It was so
Like,
fun.
what if you slipped and died? Was
Well,
that
I mean-
ever a possibility, or?
Yeah, I mean you can get hurt, but like there's padding and shit, so the chance of getting hurt is
Wait.
pretty low.
Oh wait, so did you so you weren't like outside?
No, it's indoors,
like
but
an
it's like
indoor.
a really tall building.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it now.
It's like a huge tall building with like a 15-foot wall or something, maybe more, and you have to like climb up it, and then if you fall, you just fall. It's
Well,
pretty
yeah.
pretty terrifying. I kind of like
And-
realized that I was afraid of heights like midway climbing up. I remembered my fear of heights. I don't know.
Wait.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
scared.
I literally I got to the top. I like reached it and finished the climb. It was like one of the two that I was able to like do pretty confidently. And I reached the top of the climb and I like touched it and suddenly my legs started to shake. And I was like, oh wait, I'm really high
Did you
up.
fall? Did you fall?
No, I didn't fall, but I
you
started
get
to
back
realize
down?
that maybe someone would have to come get me.
How'd you get down?
I just like mustered up the courage to stop shaking and like slowly inch my way down. It was kind of
Dude, that
embarrassing.
shit is so scary, dude. Like,
It is.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like climbing up like a tall ass ladder and it's like, wait a second.
Yeah, you suddenly realize when you're way too high to realize. Yeah, and anyway, so like I think I'm gonna start climbing, bro. It's so fun.
Really?
Yeah, and like it's
cool,
it's
man.
a killer workout, dude. Honestly, because like if you want to get
Yeah.
ripped, just
Works
learn
all
to.
all the main muscle groups.
It works all those muscle groups that like look good, you know. All the ones that make you
Yeah.
look hot are the ones that you work by climbing. So I
really?
think I'm gonna start doing that.
Did you go from like a 6 to a 7, like just from rock climbing?
Just from one day of rock climbing, I went from like a
Oh,
7.5 to an 8, bro. It was insane.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And
So.
you like sore or?
Oh yeah, it fucked me up, dude. Cause like I went in there and I was like, I was prepared to not even be able to do like anything. Like I was, cause I'm not like I'm in amazing shape. Okay, I'm not like I'm not morbidly obese, but I weigh like 185 pounds. Okay, I'm not a small boy, and I'm pretty out of shape. But I guess like I'm not as out of shape as I thought, cause I was actually able to do quite a bit of it. They have like a grading system, so there's like they have like letters next to each route, and it'll say like VB, which is like beginner version, so it's like for beginner climbers.
Yeah.
And then they have like V0, V1, V2, etc. And then like the higher they get,
You
the
were
harder it
advanced
is.
climber.
No, I was able to do one that was a V1, but it was like it was so hard, so fucking hard. My
What's your
fingers
grip
were
strength?
so hurt, terrible, awful. And it made me appreciate grip strength so much more, dude. They have this thing called a hang board there, where you're supposed to like go up to it and hang, kind of like a pull up, but you don't actually pull yourself up. You just hang, and like there's a place for you to put your fingers, and it's like it's like different levels. Like the top level is like you're hanging on basically like an edge, like think of a windowsill or something.
Yeah.
But then the very bottom one is like a centimeter, and you have to like put your fingers on this like centimeter thing and like hold your entire body weight with that amount of ledge. And there are people there that can actually do it, dude. There was this girl there that I swear to God, she was like a fucking 10, bro. Like she was insanely hot, and she was able to do like everything in the entire building. She was like just wiping the floor with everyone there, and like I bet she would be able to do the fucking hangboard. I have no idea how anyone does that. It's insane. I was just like, because like
I
when we
heard like
walked
having
in,
smaller hands helps.
I've heard that, but I feel like it's kind of the opposite, because if you have big hands, you can like get a better grip on things. I've heard
Big
both
feet.
ways. I don't know. It was weird because when I first walked in, like I don't know, I judged everyone in there. I was like, oh, these people don't look like that fit. So I was like kind of feeling like oh, maybe I can do this because these people don't look that fit. And then that girl that I was talking about, literally, she was so fucking like, it was insane. I couldn't believe how she was able to do it and make it look so easy. And it was actually so fucking hard.
Yeah, the only thing I know about rock climbing is like there was like this YouTube recommended video about this like guy who's like super fucking strong, like super big, and he's like, yeah, I did some rock climbing, and like these kids have a better grip strength than I am, and like I can fucking bench press like, you know.
I think you're talking about Brian Shaw, right? Like the world's strongest man guy or whatever.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, my little brother was telling me about that. That's insane. How the grip strength of these guys is unreal.
Yeah. Seems like fun. Like, any reason? Like, who told you? Like, hey, let's go rock climbing. Your brother?
Yeah, my middle brother, my younger brother. He's 17. He wanted to climb. And also, I have another story about my brother that I don't think I've told you yet. Yeah, he's talking about joining the army.
Oh yeah. I think we talked about this last podcast. I think.
Yeah, but yeah, my brother is talking about joining the army, and like I had a conversation with him when I was at home. Cause like I don't know, like. You know what I think about the army. Like, I don't really like it that much, you know? I don't like the U.S. military that much. So, like, do what? Sorry?
Has good benefits.
I mean, it has good benefits, yeah. And, like, my brother was basically... I was just worried that he was, like, doing it because he felt like he had no other purpose for his life, you know? Did you ever think about joining the military, David?
Nope, never thought about it.
Never? Okay.
That's what my brother did. He joined the military because he didn't know what he was gonna do after high school.
Yeah.
And it was either go to college or go to the military.
Right, yeah. Like, I don't look down on people that join the military at all. But, like, I worry because the military really, like, preys on people that don't know what they want to do. Like, they take advantage of young kids that don't know what they want to do.
But it's not like you're not getting anything out of it.
No, you definitely do get stuff out of it. But, like, sometimes the sacrifices you make are not worth it. And, like, the government really just doesn't care about, like, veterans. You know what I mean? Like, they regularly don't serve veterans enough, and they undertreat them and stuff. So, like, I don't know. I just, like, I don't trust the government. So I feel like if I didn't say my opinion to my brother and I just, like, let him join the army without at least, like, telling him what I've learned in my life and, like, what I believe about the army, like, I would almost be doing him a disservice by not trying to, like, give my side of it, you know? And, like,
What'd you tell him?
I mean, I just told him, I was like, I really think the military is an immoral institution that largely the U.S. government uses for, like, imperial control over the world. And I was like saying, you know, like of course the entire military is not like one experience, because you can join like the infantry or whatever, like be like an army medic or like an infantryman or something, and like you're most likely going to be on the front lines and, like see combat, or like you said, yeah, you could be like a desk job. So it's kind of pointless to say like these anecdotal stories about like bad experiences people have in the military, but like you just have to be aware that they do happen. And like that's the thing, is that he could join and nothing bad happens, or he could join and he could be one of the people that like gets blown up or like loses a leg or some shit. You never know. And like that's the thing, you have to wonder in the back of your mind constantly, am I gonna be a fucking like statistic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really worried about that for him, and I didn't want him to rush into it without thinking about it. But honestly, like we had a really good conversation, and he's not rushing into it. Like he really has thought about it, and like I don't think
So he still wants to join after your talk, or?
I mean, I'm not sure. It's hard to say exactly. He seems really set on it, and but I don't know. I'm not like as worried about it as I was before, because I feel like he's kind of going into it with a healthy expectation, you know, like he's not going in like I can't wait to like serve my country and do an honorable deed. He's literally just going in because he's like, I really like the benefits that it will give me, and I feel like the chances that I'm gonna have to do something really bad or like get hurt are pretty low. Yeah. And like honestly, I mean that's a fair assessment, and like he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, and if that's where he feels useful and that's where he feels like he can progress his life, then I mean like who am I to say don't do that, you know? I disagree with the institution, but I don't think that every individual soldier is a bad person, and like if he joins the army, I hope that it doesn't change him into a bad person, because he is a good person right now, you know. I just don't want it to change him.
That's what I thought about my brother joining the Marines. Like I don't think he's gonna get deployed anywhere where he's gonna like die, or like the job he has is gonna put him in any like major danger. Like you know, he's been to Thailand and Australia. Like he hasn't been to anywhere like super like dangerous.
It still is always in the back of your mind though. Like I worry about it. I worry like if my brother goes over there, it's just I feel so like powerless, because I'm not his dad, you know. I'm not gonna be like, don't go, you're being stupid, because like I can't deny all of the nice things that you get from joining the military. It's just like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really don't want him to like die or get hurt or like
also,
become a different person.
It's my brother signed like a 4-year contract. I don't know how it is for like the army and shit like that, but like, you know, after 4 years, you know, he's done. Like he doesn't have to re-enlist.
Right.
And like now he has, you know, it's super insane benefits, and like, you know,
and a really good resume.
Like people love like, oh, Marines, fuck yeah, bro, we'll take you on, bro.
Yeah,
and,
that's
you know,
basically what my brother was saying.
Paid for and stuff like that. I mean, basically like, you know, B's gonna be able to like buy a house when he's like out.
Yeah. This actually gives me a really good opportunity to talk about this other podcast I've been listening to, that I really think deserves like a plug. It's called Eyes Left, and it's a podcast by two guys that are ex-military members. One guy served like tours in Iraq or something, and another guy served in Afghanistan, and basically they came back home, and like they had both had like really fucked up experiences overseas, just like a lot of, you know, veterans do, and they both came back and like were basically radicalized by the war, and they both became like anti-imperialist, anti-military or anti-war people, and they both came back and started that podcast. And I think it's a really, really powerful podcast, and literally I've like cried several times listening to it, because they have first-hand accounts and like actual recorded messages from veterans, like describing the things that they've seen overseas, and you know, describing some of the things that their higher ups asked them to do, and like it's graphic and it's real shit and it's fucked up, and like if you're in a bad fucking headspace, definitely don't listen to it. But I think that if you can handle it, listen to it, because it might change your perspective about the military, and it really opened my eyes. I mean, I already didn't like the military and I already didn't agree with its purpose, but listening to that kind of, you know, made me really realize that is the only correct answer to this fucking situation, is complete
you know, honestly,
disagreement.
Like, my thoughts on the military is like, they're giving you all these like really good benefits, like these amazing benefits, and like most of the time, like if you're, hopefully, like you don't get deployed and like see actual combat,
Right.
but like most of the time, like you're going in for 4 years and like you don't see any combat,
Yeah.
and you're fine and like you're good.
Exactly.
Like you might as well use like you're basically using the government's like fucking like, gimme.
Well, I wouldn't
Um,
exactly say you're using the government, but like
Not using
in terms
the
of like the jobs you could have, because I mean
Yeah.
you're still doing your labor and you're still provide like you're basically a wage slave just like you are in any other job. But the wages you're getting from the government are much better than a lot of different jobs you
Yeah,
could do.
like my brother was just chilling in California for like a whole month, waiting for his like classes and the Marines to start, and he was just getting paid for it.
Yeah,
like
just collecting
playing,
his stipend.
just chilling. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
mean it's
chilling,
not a
just, like,
bad gig
working
if
out.
you get lucky and you don't see combat and hopefully you don't have to ever do anything bad. Like it's not a bad gig, which is why it's so hard for me to just straight up say don't join. It's the wrong thing to do because you never know. It might work out great for him, and I really hope it does. I
Yeah,
mean I
he
hope
has,
it
like,
does
a
for
year
your
and a
brother
half
too.
left. Yeah.
Your brother has a year and a half left.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude. And it sounds like he's not really doing anything dangerous, which is really good.
Yeah. No, he's just chilling.
That's great, dude. Yeah, I really hope that happens for my brother too. And I don't know. I don't want to be a fucking I don't need to be radicalized anymore.
Yeah, that's
you know?
good. You can also see see the world as well. Like
Yeah.
my brother, he was in Thailand, and I don't know where else he's been, to be honest. Like I know he's been Thailand, Australia, but he also found his fiance in Australia. He proposed to her like I believe 3 days ago
Wow,
in
that's
New Orleans.
awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you know when the wedding's gonna be? Are you gonna go?
I don't know, and yeah, of course, my brother.
What if it's like in another country? Are you gonna fly?
Of course, yeah.
Dude, that would be sick.
Dude, no matter what that wedding's at, like I'm gonna be there.
Hell yeah. I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
Right? That's your brother.
Hell yeah, and like I'm happy for him, but like he's only known the girl for a year. But if he thinks he's ready, then like fuck it. Like who am I to think anything?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of view marriage that way anyway. I feel like it's not as big of a commitment as it used to be. So like, if it turns out that they don't work out, it's actually not that big a deal, you know?
Yeah, like the percentage of people who get divorced is like insanely high.
Yeah, it's more than half.
Yeah, it's like 4% or something bullshit like that.
Yup.
Do you ever plan to get married?
I think that my girlfriend and I, like, assuming that I marry my current girlfriend, which I plan on doing, like, we're gonna have like a ceremonial wedding, but we're not gonna actually get married, like, in the eyes of the government, because as far as I'm concerned, it's really not needed these days. And
Well, like for taxes and shit, like that affects that. At
yeah,
least.
that used to be true, but now you can just do a civil union, like partnership. You can file joint taxes. Even not married individuals can do that. You just have to prove that you're living together for like a certain period of time. So I mean, honestly, like it's not really needed for financial reasons. And even if it were, like the chances that I'm going to be making enough money in the near future to like need a tax break for like being joint people or like need to declare dependence. I'm not planning on having
Yeah.
kids anytime soon. So like I don't think it's necessary, to be honest. But we probably
Yeah.
will have like a wedding, and obviously you're invited. Everyone who listens to this podcast is invited, but you guys have to like stand outside. You can't come in.
Yeah.
But David, you're allowed in though.
Like the big glass. Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Excited to be there. My brother, yeah, I don't know if because like you get also insane benefits if you get married while you're in the
Yeah, that's true.
armed forces. Like I think you get like an
You
extra
get a bigger house.
like, $800 or $600 or something like that, like just for getting married.
Yeah.
Kind of insane.
shit. I'll take that. Your brother's
Yeah.
really swindling my tax money right now, and I love it.
Yeah, fucking yoinked.
Yoink. Better
Yeah,
in his
he was
hands
here
than
for like the
anyone else.
last. He was here for like the last 4 or 5 days, and with his girlfriend.
That's cool. So you got to see him?
Yeah, I got to see him for a couple of days. It's kind of weird because like, like after not seeing him for a while, then him only being here for a couple of days, and then him being gone for like another year.
Yeah. It's like kind of like he's in college or something.
Yeah, like he doesn't feel like it feels like he's a guest.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like he's actually here.
I kind of felt like a guest in my own house when I was like back home this time for Christmas too. It's the first time I've ever really felt that way.
Yeah, how'd that feel?
I mean, I don't know. And kind of another thing I wanted to talk about too is like I've kind of recently started seeing my parents like as equals. You know, is that like a thing for you?
What do you mean,
Like when I came
like
home this time,
we do the same shit?
no, like I mean kind of, but like when I came home this time and I saw my mom, like I mean I love my mom and like I value our relationship so much, but like it was almost like I was going back to visit like an old friend because like we haven't seen each other for so long. Like I almost feel like I need to go home more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I never
I
get
don't
to see
know.
my
I
family
bet.
ever, and I kind of like I don't know. I hate that. You know. It's not like I'm dying to see my family, and I don't miss home or anything, but I just miss talking to my mom. I miss talking to my brothers, and just catching up with them and telling them about my life and stuff. And I feel like I never get to do that anymore.
I don't think that'll like ever be the case for me because I don't know if it's like a culture thing, but like like I'm really like strong, like, deep bonds with my like family,
Yeah.
and like even after like leaving like my house, I think like my mom's gonna be like calling me every day and like
Yeah.
texting me every day, and like she's always gonna hear from me because
Huh.
like when I was in Ecuador for 3 months. Like I cried when my dad called and like I was like, oh, I miss you, and like I can't wait to go back home. And like I miss my dad. Like was literally crying over the phone.
Yeah.
I gotta hear his voice.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever like maybe my first semester at college like I really really missed my parents, but like I don't know. My parents and I have always had like not a distant relationship because we're super close. I don't mean to like sound like my parents don't love me because they really do, and I love them as well. But like, I've always kind of had a long leash. Does that make sense? Like I've been able
Yeah,
to
I
go out on
understand.
my own. I've been very independent, you know.
Yeah,
So like when I left for college, it didn't really. It felt like it was the right thing to do. You know, I didn't feel like I was leaving. I felt like I was moving on to the next stage of my life, and I wasn't really leaving anyone. But now that I've been gone for so long, it kind of feels different, and it makes
yeah,
me want to go home more. Definitely.
yeah. I think that was never the case for me. When me and my brother was growing up, like we definitely had a shorter leash on like what we could do. But like when my brother was like getting to his more like late 18s, like being a little more rebellious, like going out, like having fun with friends and shit. They definitely got like a lot more laid back when it was like my turn
Right.
to like be a dude, and
Yeah.
like they let me like stay out until like 2 a.m. Like I don't know if they ever like known I was like I came home drunk, but like my dad definitely know that I was like drinking, like I would like go out drinking with my friends.
Yeah. I mean, I straight up told my mom whenever I was going to get drunk or whatever. My mom had the kind of relationship where I could literally tell her like I'm going to get drunk, and like if and then she'd be like, okay, if you need me to drive you home, just let me know, and I'm like, okay, cool, and like
Yeah.
we would.
Yeah, no, I don't know, but like I feel in a like Hispanic, like you're like that type of like I feel like that type of relationship is like better because like you don't have to keep secrets. But like definitely like growing up Hispanic and like my mom always telling me like every day like oh don't do these things, don't do these things, like because I don't want like I feel bad too because like the reason why they say these things over and over again is my stepbrother. Like he like left the house at 18. Like he sold drugs and shit. He went to jail and like his friends like robbed him for his drug money and shit. Like he literally like flew to different states to like sell drugs and shit.
Damn.
And like had like he was literally living like the drug deal. Like he had like a butterfly like a door car and shit. And like he was like giving me 100. He gave me like $100 for like out of nowhere. I don't even think it was for my birthday. He was like, here's $100, and like
Just living that Walter
at
White
first,
life.
and like my mom like took away that $100, and at first I was mad. I'm like, why'd you take that? Like, like that was a gift to me, but like my mom was like protecting me from like because I didn't know at the time that it was ill-gotten gains.
Yeah.
They just told me like, oh, he's like he went to New York for like construction and stuff like that, and like trying to protect him. But as I got older, I was like, wait a second, I
That's
forgot the
crazy.
my little truth. Yeah.
That's like hearing those stories about people whose parents were like in the mob or whatever, and like they didn't realize. It's like their dad would come home, like, and his shoes would be like all beat up because he was like walking down the street like beating the shit out of people, and like,
Mm.
but he was wearing like nice dress shoes or whatever, or like he'd come home with like blood on his sleeve or something. It's like
Yeah.
catching like little glimpses of like stuff that you don't really understand why it's wrong because you're too young or whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. I guess if you
Yeah,
had that
but,
kind of relationship with your parents, though, you probably don't see them as like equals, right? You kind of you look up to them, or maybe like see them as like different than you, you know?
I don't know. Like, I don't even like. I wouldn't say like look up to it in a sense, but like that's my dad, that's my mom. Like I respect them because they put me in this world.
Right. I kind of felt like whenever I came home, especially this time, like my mom and dad, I kind of felt like they were equals in the sense that, not in the sense that I'm looking down on them or I feel like I'm better than them in any way. Like I still respect them as my parents, obviously, but equals in the way that we treated each other and the way that like we had conversations with each other. And that's why I said like it felt like meeting up with an old friend, because like when I was younger, it's not that I hid anything from them, but like I definitely didn't feel the need to tell them about everything about my life, because there were certain things that were just kind of private. But like now I felt like I was totally open because I'm not like worried that they're going to punish me. Like I have my own life here, like separated from them. So I feel like I'm able to share things about my life that I wouldn't necessarily be 100% comfortable with before. Just because there is that little bit of distance between us, you know? Not necessarily physically, but like mentally.
Yeah, I feel like that started for me when my brother left, because my brother was like, I basically lived in the same room with my brother up until like high school.
Right.
Like until he basically joined the military. I was like living with my brother in the same room. And like basically, I told him everything, he told me everything, I told him everything. And like after he was gone, I kind of like had no one to tell anything to. 'Cause, I still have my little sister, but that's my little sister. I'm not gonna, tell her like what I'm up to, I guess. I don't know, in a weird way. But like, I like more recently, like, I'm trying to be more open with my parents and sister, I guess, about like, what's going on with me, like what I'm doing.
Always a good thing, brother.
Yeah.
So David, the decade is coming to a close.
Oh yes. I totally forgot about it.
It's finally happening, dude. 2019 is ending. I kind of want to like talk about some highlights from the decade. What do you think?
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, like, okay, so like, let's talk about a few things. Like,
yeah,
in the past 10 years, what is like the big milestones that have happened in our lives, right? I mean, for me, I graduated high school.
Graduated high school.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, I guess like 10 years back, I graduated middle school, high school. I went to college. I met a lot. Met you. Met basically everyone I talked to. I've met them in the last 10 years. Yeah. Became a Marxist-Leninist. Like went from loving the government to hating the government in a span of like 1 year. Like, became super depressed, super happy. Basically swung up and down like that for alternating 6 months at a time. A lot has happened to me, dude. But let's talk about some highlights in our consumer life. All right. So like, what do you think's your favorite movie in the past 10 years, David?
Oh my god, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't watch movies at the movie theater. I watch them like years after they come out. Like, I literally, like, the past week I've been watching Star Wars for the very first time, and like getting into Star Wars and stuff like that. I've never seen the prequels or the sequels, or anything in between. I just started watching Star Wars. That's pretty fucking good. Yeah, like, I don't know. For me, like, movies, like, if something's talked about a lot, like, yeah, it's probably not that good. And like, I don't watch it. Like, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, or
fair enough.
For a while I'd never like this. Like, for me this year at least, like, I watched a lot of movies. Like, I've seen like every Marvel movie that's like come out, except for I think like God, what's the name? Captain Marvel. I don't think I've seen Captain Marvel, but like I've seen basically every Marvel movie
terms of movies,
just to see Endgame.
I'm tempted to say in terms of movies, like maybe not my favorite, but the most influential of the past decade has definitely been the Marvel Cinematic movies, like just as a collection.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Endgame was like Like
It
Endgame was a
wasn't
good
amazing.
wrap up, but it wasn't like if you haven't seen the past movies, that movie didn't mean anything to you.
Right. Yeah. It was very much a fan servicey wrap up movie, which I mean,
Yeah,
it was fine. It was the culmination of a decade long arc, like story arc, so it worked out fine. But you know, it wasn't an amazing movie. But I just like if you take the whole story as a whole, I think you can definitely say that was probably the most influential series of the decade.
yeah, for
Do you
sure.
agree? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
trying
know
to
what my
like think
favorite movie
of.
is though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to like recall right now, like what was a movie that I'm like, oh my god, that was. Oh yes, actually I do. Um, the Spider Verse, Into the Spider Verse. I thought
Oh,
that was
that's
the
a
best movie
strong
I've
answer.
ever seen
That's a strong.
in forever. I saw it in theaters. It was really good.
Yeah, that okay. Oof. I'm torn between that and Inception. Inception came out in 2010, so I
Inception
think
was like a good mindfuck movie, but I didn't see it when it was like out. I saw it like way
okay.
later.
I thought Inception was really good. I think it's tied for that with me. I think I'm just gonna steal your answer and say that, but it's tied for first with Inception
Yeah,
for me.
I think In the Spider Verse was like one of the best movies that has come out in a while, and I hope
I
to
agree.
see another movie in that same style.
Me too. Oh God, please. Okay, let's move on. What's your in the past
Music.
10 years? A lot. Okay, let's do music. Yeah, in the past 10 years, a lot of music has come out. What do you think has been your favorite? And okay, I'm gonna change the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it in the past 10 years. What is the favorite song that you've listened to? It doesn't necessarily have to come out in the last 10 years.
And the last like my most like listened to track or like
Yeah, it can even
my
be an
favorite
artist. Let's
song.
do a favorite artist. How about that? Past 10 years.
I mean, I love Suicide Boys
Oh yeah.
with a passion. Like just any of their shit, I've listened to a lot of their stuff. Like they're my top Spotify artists for like 2 years in a row now. Um, I can't say I don't know music. I like a lot of music for me. Like I like wherever sounds good. And sometimes like my like music taste has drastically changed. Like a couple of years ago, I believe like 4 years ago in 2015, I was really into like indie folk music for no good reason. And like I was listening to like a lot of pop indie on Spotify, just like obscure fucking people. And I just listened to a lot of that. And then I just started listening to what was on the radio. And then I think you know how I got into Suicide Boys? I saw an AMV of like a combination of Suicide Boys tracks, and I was like, dude, this is the most hype like songs I've ever listened to. And I literally like that was the first time I've ever gotten goosebumps listening to music.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, this is like insane.
Wow.
Yeah, but favorite artist of all time probably has to be Suicide Boys for this 10-year span.
Yeah, I kind of figured you'd go with that. And honestly, like, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I think I probably would have gone with that as well. But for the past decade, I think that the culmination of, like, my entire taste and, like, love of music, even though I haven't been listening to these guys for that long, and they haven't even actually been popular for that long, I think my favorite band has got to be Idols, the British, like, punk rock band. And it's because of like the style of music and kind of like the message is the reason that I like it, not necessarily like how much I've listened to it or how influential it's been on my life. I feel like it's a very good example of like kind of how these past 10 years have been for me, so that's gonna be my answer.
Idols. Are they like on SoundCloud primarily or
Oh yeah,
Spotify? Or are they
they're
just
on
popular?
YouTube and stuff, probably on Spotify too. Definitely recommend you give them a listen if you like punk, especially punk rock.
You ever listen to K-pop?
Hell no, bro.
Yeah, there was like a couple months span where I was like, dude, I fuck with K-pop right now.
Really? You went through a fucking
Like,
K-pop phase?
Well, like it wasn't like a hardcore K-pop
What,
phase,
like
but
BTS?
like just listen to like good shit, like that just sounds good, like Blackpink and like BTS. I mean, like just DNA.
I
Like,
find it kind of strange. Like, I feel like South Korea has been doing some kind of weird, like, marketing scheme where they're actually, like, taking. Like, this is totally all alleged and it's a conspiracy, but I feel like they're doing what Japan is doing, where they're trying to win, like, a cultural victory.
Yeah,
You
in
know
the
what I
world.
mean? Yeah, to, like, take over
Uh,
with their culture.
I don't know. Like, I don't
Because there are
listen to
some
any K-pop
ravenous
nowadays.
K-pop
But
fans in the West.
K-pop, like the appeal is like the dancing. The dancing is nice.
And
The
the
fucking the
idols.
cute. They're cute as fuck. Like even the guys, they're fucking cute. Like no cap.
Very abusive industry, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad stuff. Like
Several people have committed
like
suicide this year alone.
suicides and like a really toxic fan base and
Yeah, and like
it's like a lot of
controlling
shit.
bosses and stuff. I don't know. I mean, hella
Yeah.
good music though, right? Hey.
Yeah. Like a really like crazy fan base. Like
Oh, I have another.
I look into the comments and let's get this video to 100 billion views and I've listened to the song 20 times already like in the past. I'm like, oh dude, like shit. Like
I
they
listen on
take it
2x
so
speed so I can
seriously.
listen more in one day.
I am listening to it on my phone, my computer, my MacBook, on my Samsung TV. Like,
Oh shit. Okay, I have another
It's-
like burning question for you, David. Favorite
Yeah.
meme of the decade?
favorite meme. Of
Yeah,
the
I already
decade.
know
That's hard.
mine.
There's been a lot of fucking memes. There was this meme. Oh fuck. I was literally just gonna type in memes in Google here, but oh, God, I don't know. It definitely none of the early 2010
No
shit.
Rage comics. No,
Yeah,
fuck
Rage
that shit.
comics
No
or,
way,
like,
dude.
or
In fact,
fucking
can we just
Impact.
agree right now to forget about that era of
Yeah.
history?
I don't know why. Like, there's some people who like actually fuck with Rage comics and like the whole
Nah,
subreddit.
children. Yeah, children.
Yeah, but yeah, no, definitely 2010 memes were fucking horrible.
Trash. Yeah, I already know mine. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you mine while you try to figure yours
let
out.
me
Mine
hear
is
yours,
the Arthur Fist meme.
Really?
That's by far the best meme of
Really?
the
That's
decade.
interesting.
Yes. And I think that
Why?
because it's amazing. It translates such a relatable emotion in such a simple picture. It's amazing. It's so good. It's my favorite meme by far, and I give it a Caleb 10-star guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of good memes in the past 10 years. Like, I don't know. There's like a lot of good ones that like come into the light, and they just leave because they get overused. I feel like it really comes down to how much you consume memes.
Which obviously
Like, if
for us is
you-
like a lot.
Is a lot. Like if you are more of a normie and like not listen to or watch memes or like look at memes, like you're like, oh yeah, this is a really good one. I consume too much, and you're really like I don't really think the Arthur meme is like that good.
No, it is though.
Oh no, my favorite meme. I know.
Okay.
The you so fucking special.
When you smile.
I love that meme.
Okay,
I love that shit.
fair
That's really
enough.
good.
That was a good one. I'll give it to you.
It was really, and then the fucking hearts and the fucking like, shooting, like the people like fucking handgun and
The
fucking,
sparkles.
the hearts. Yes.
Fuck. Okay, yeah,
it's
that was a
good.
really good one. I agree.
I like
I
that
like
because
that
it was
Arthur
harder to do, so it wasn't that mass produced.
Yeah. And it was always funny. It never stopped being funny.
It was never not funny. Yeah.
True fucking fact. Okay, let's go with
TV shows.
TV shows. Okay, easy answer. BoJack Horseman, 100% easy answer.
Really.
Yeah, really easy answer.
BoJack Horseman is a really good one.
I like if Game of Thrones went differently, it would have been an easy Game of Thrones for me. But like obviously we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. I mean, I watched The Office for the very first time this year, and
I mean-
that was pretty good. That was a little moment that we had.
Fair enough. I mean, it did technically air within the last decade. It was off the air, like
Yeah.
or like the first episode was not in the past decade though. But I'll allow
No,
it.
like it's hard because I don't really watch like TV shows either.
Well,
Like,
Netflix counts.
Like
though.
I consumed a lot of media this year. I'd like to think I watched all
I'd
of
like to
I never
think.
watched Breaking Bad before, so I watched all of it, and then I watched El
Whoa,
Camino.
But wait, that was a good one too. Maybe BoJack is
Yeah.
not my answer.
But, like Breaking Bad was really good. The Office was really good. Fuck. I watched. I don't think I watched that much anime this year, to be honest with you.
Nah, me neither, honestly. There wasn't a lot of good anime. There was some.
Yeah.
But how about wait, have you come up with a movie? I mean, not a movie, but a fucking.
I mean, BoJack was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good. Black Mirror is really good too.
That's true. I mean, I'll accept The Office too if you would like to use that as yours. Obviously, they did invent humor, so.
I would like to use The Office. Office
Okay.
is probably all-time favorite. Actually, no. Hands down, Office is my all-time favorite
Wow.
TV show that's come out ever
That's
so
bold.
far. I
That's
haven't
really
watched
bold.
anything as good as The Office, to be honest with you. It's
Wow.
like, it's really good. Like, there was no parts where I was like, yeah, this is really bad, except for when that one British girl was the manager.
Donna.
Donna, yeah.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Favorite political scandal.
Fuck, dude. I don't even think I've been like alive that long.
In the past 10 years, I gotta go with. I mean, it's tempting to just go with the most recent one. I mean, obviously, the most
Yeah.
influential one is probably the Biden Ukraine shit because that led to an impeachment. Which, by the way, I don't even
Yeah.
think we talked about that on the podcast yet.
No, we didn't
we didn't, 'cause I
definitely
think-
touched on it.
Really? What do you think about our wet boy getting
Impeachment.
impeached?
I mean, it hasn't really changed anything so far.
No, it's not gonna change.
I mean, it literally has done nothing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Our
there hasn't
official
been
take is,
zero impact.
who cares?
who
Nothing's gonna
fucking
change.
cares?
He's still the
Bernie
president.
Sanders next year though, hopefully.
Yep.
I'm honestly, he's been getting some really good, media coverage.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are really, sizing up to socialism.
Yeah, I agree, and I've really appreciated this like hashtag Bernie blackout shit that's been going on. Like people are actually acknowledging the fact that the media has been totally unfair to him and totally. ignoring him.
I've seen some stuff about that where like it's like not true. Some of the stuff,
like such as what?
like-
Sorry.
like some of the like Bernie blackout shit's like not true. I've seen some of that, but like definitely for sure, like they do that.
Yeah.
But like they're like a lot of people are like, oh, like this image is like not real, and like just just a few seconds ago they actually did mention Bernie Sanders. Like it's just like now in this instant it's just they're showing Warren and Biden because
Right.
they already talked about Bernie Sanders.
I mean, Bernie Sanders' campaign is nearing 5 million individual donations right
Yeah,
now,
it's crazy.
as
Like,
we speak.
Bernie Sanders has no billionaires.
Nope. Not a
At
single
all.
one. I'm pretty sure I'm
It's
like
all
35
affordable.
of those fucking donations.
Yeah, like Warren has 6 billionaire donors. Pete Buttigieg has 39. Biden has like 44.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bernie
I
Sanders
just
is 0.
something feels different about this. Like in 2016 when he lost like the primary. Well, first of all, I obviously
I mean, in
didn't
2016 he was
think-
definitely a nobody.
Yeah, like something feels different about this time. I feel like he really is
Feel
gonna
good.
fucking win this thing, dude.
Yeah, hopefully, but
I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up.
you don't need a fucking popular vote to win.
Yeah. Which
Kinda
is
stupid.
unfortunate.
Oh, another thing I want to talk about that it's been on my mind. I was watching this video, and it was like this girl from Idaho was talking about how I posted this in our Discord, and and like she was talking about I don't understand like how people can't afford a 2-bedroom apartment with minimum wage, and like she was saying like some other candidate like brought it up is like it's impossible to pay for a 2-bedroom apartment at the current minimum wage. And she's like, I don't understand why. Like, I think he's lying. I don't think this is true because she lives in Idaho, and she's like, I have been like I get paid minimum wage right now. Like I'm making $7.25, and then she kept on saying that. And she's like, and then for some like I don't know why she kept on saying I make minimum wage. I make minimum wage, and then later she says, I also make tips. It's minimum wage plus tips.
Ha.
Like you're not making minimum wage if you're making plus tips.
Mhm.
Like that is a lot of extra cash,
Yeah.
especially if it's cash and not credit tips, because
Right.
you don't have to.
Don't declare them.
You don't have to declare them,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of extra chang. And like she was talking about like, yeah, I don't have a car, and she doesn't even have a bed because she thinks a bed's a luxury, and she's like,
She's
like
literally
all
living
this,
in poverty.
and she's like, yeah, I just bike to work and shit. It's like,
She doesn't even realize that she's literally being exploited.
yeah, she's like.
She is a victim of
I
this.
like now like listening to her talk. I'm like, God, I understand like why people are so dumb. Like I think that they're dumb, but actually they're just ignorant.
They're whipped.
Because they so how people like to work is they apply to what they know to other, to a situation. So like she thinks that way, like because she lives in Idaho and like she lives in a small town where she can bike to work and all those things, and she thinks she doesn't need a bed and shit like that, and she applies that to how she thinks other people live, and she's like, why can't people do what I can do? And that's why they like don't believe in more lefty takes, is because they are so sheltered.
I think like people just aren't even aware that they are victims, you know? Like that woman is
Yeah.
a victim. She doesn't understand that actually like the person who's not getting by and who is not able to get by is her. Human beings don't deserve to live in those conditions or work for those wages, and I don't know.
Imagine thinking a bed is a luxury.
Right, yeah, like or thinking like being able to
She
like
thinks
be
it's a waste of
comfortable in
money
your
to
commute.
spend money on a bed because she thinks like unnecessary like spendage.
Yeah, it's absurd, and honestly, it's a failure of the left to not gather those people like as support. You know, like
Yeah,
if we're not able to get them, then we're not doing our job.
Yeah, I always thought it's just like people who aren't interested will not know because they'll never go into those things. You really have to be in their face with the people who don't care about politics, and because like everyone loves politics, you just don't know it yet.
They love it as a spectator sport. It's different for you and me than it is for them, because like for you and me, we see politics as a thing that actually directly affects our lives. Like when we're voting for people, we're voting for a better world. But like when these people watch their favorite politicians on television, it's just like watching their fucking favorite show that week, you know? They're like, oh, I wonder who's up in the polls this week. Like I wonder if my favorite candidate is winning, or if like I need to like post about him more on Twitter and like talk shit about my least
I mean,
favorite
they definitely
candidate.
don't think about that.
Exactly, like they don't think about like how it actually like affects their life, though. They don't think about that kind of stuff at all.
I don't know. Like sometimes, like I think, can we blame them for not like looking into politics because they work 40 hours a week
Right.
and have a full-time job, and like they don't have time to worry about that shit.
Right. I don't
And,
think we
like,
can.
To me, who's pampered because I do have the free time to ask these questions and think
Not
about
only do
this.
we
I
have
don't
the
know.
free time to ask these questions, but we have also been blessed with the ability to even be educated enough to like introspect about our own philosophies, our own morals, our own like way of life, and be critical of the system that we live in.
Maslow hierarchy needs.
Exactly. Like we're able to be critical of the system we live in rather than just exist in it and be victims to it. So like when people blame like dumb people who vote for Trump, like even though they're the direct victims of his policies, like I almost see that as like a miscalculation, because they're actually like we're
It's not their
failing those
fault.
people, because we should be
It's-
able to get to them with our message, because we need to show them an
Yeah.
actual alternative rather than just like them seeing politics as a spectator sport.
Yeah, the people who are really the bad people, who are people who do partake and still believe in like alt-right takes. and,
Correct.
like don't believe that people should have a socialized healthcare, and like they're very greedy, and like I mean it's capitalism, and as like we're talking about Christmas and all this shits. These are capitalist holidays
Right.
to make money for these corporations.
Right, and like like not to say that you should feel guilty for participating in them, because that's absolutely not true. I mean, like there are important events that allow you to build relationships with people, but like the truth of the matter
Yeah.
is that this culture in this country is built on consumerism, and even our most sacred holidays cannot be separated from the hegemonic force of the structure of the system that we live in, like the structure of capitalism itself.
Yeah, like this year for Christmas, like I didn't get anything for anybody, and I felt a little bad, but like but I shouldn't like, you know, I feel like it's kind of weird that you're expected to give something to someone because that's like just the normal thing. Like, and you know, it feels like a cop out answer is like, you know, it's like the season isn't about the gifts, but you know, the time you spend with your family. Because like, oh, you don't want to spend any money being a cheapskate and stuff like that. But you know,
Yeah. That's why, like, I've moved
yeah.
to more, like, sentimental gifts. Like, I give people... I make things for people, or I do things with people rather than just buy things for them, because we all know we're fucking poor. None of us can afford gifts for each other.
I'd rather get money than a gift, like an actual gift. But I feel like that's, like, horrible to, like, say to someone, like, hey, like, you know, instead of just giving me a gift, just give me some money. I'd appreciate that way more.
It's the reality of the situation. Like, I can't really use a fucking blender, but I can use $200 to pay my rent. So
yeah,
it is what it is, man. But I think we need to like find a philosophy question for this episode, bro.
You don't have anything else to talk about?
Nah, I think we're good. Let's fucking run to the Batcave.
So, the question for the week: how does one find purpose in life? I feel like it's a good question. We've been talking about, you know, what people want to do after high school. Like, should they go to school? Should they go to trade school? Should they go to the military? I mean, you have limited options once you're leaving high school.
Yeah. I think, like, the biggest issue for me right now with that question is that, like, people really force kids into, like, a very regimented life. Like, my brother, for example, we talked about him earlier about joining the military. Like, he feels so pressured to... First of all, like, my family wants him to join the Air Force instead of the Army because they're, like, kind of elitist about the military, and, like, they see the Air Force as where the smart people go. Man. Exactly. And, like... And second of all, like, he feels really pressured to go to college instead of joining the Army. And, like, I feel like that's fucked up. Like, not everyone needs to go to college, right?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone needs to go to college.
Especially now, considering how commodified it has become. Education is almost a joke because of how much of a scam it is.
Yeah, you know? Like, you know, you hear so many people getting a degree and still working at McDonald's and these fast food restaurants making minimum wage. Especially
considering liberal arts degrees, like, I very much agree with them. But, like, the structure of the economy is set up in such a way where those people are not going to make money. Right, exactly.
Only the wealthy can do it.
Exactly. And, like, if you're not born into wealth, like, pursuing one of those degrees is the fastest way to saddle yourself with thousands of dollars of debt.
Yeah, there was this one really wealthy guy I used to talk to, and, like, who literally had, like, a allowance of, like, $3,000 a week. Like, his sister went to art school in Germany, and she doesn't even know the language or, like, anything like that. She just wanted to go to art school because she, like, you know, likes art and stuff. And, like, and no offense to her, I don't think she's ever gonna be listening to this podcast, but she is not that good. And it's, I don't know, it's like, you know, you go to school to get better, so hopefully, she got better at it. But
don't want to talk shit about her, but, like, I get the point though. Like, she's wealthy as hell. Like, only people like that have the option to even go. I think that's so wrong though, because, like, if we lived in a truly equal and fair world,
you could do whatever you want without having to worry about it. Yeah.
Like, and I feel like a quote that has really stuck with me is I don't remember who said it, but, like, someone said that basically I'm much less interested in the dimensions, size, and shape of Einstein's brain than I am, or I'm much more concerned with the idea that thousands of people with similar brains died working in, like, sweatshops and mines, you know? Like, it makes me think how much human potential is actually being wasted because of the economy that we exist in.
Yeah, consumerism.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, just capitalism,
child labor, you know, sweatshops and stuff like that. Them working, like, for pennies on the dollar, and they're selling the things they make for absurd amounts of money, despite it only taking, like, a couple dollars to produce the product.
Exactly, and, like, imagine how many of those people. I'm not saying that every dumb person who works in a sweatshop is gonna be, like, the next fucking.
I mean, they're forced into these
exactly, but they're human beings. They're human beings, and just imagine, like, not only what they could produce, but just the experiences that they could have.
What if, like, one of those, like, people, like, could grow up to, like, you know, like, cure cancer or some bullshit like that, you know?
And, like, I don't want to reduce the value of a person to the to their labor, because obviously we're against that on this show. That's kind of the whole fucking point. But like, but when we inefficiently force someone to do something that they don't want to do or they're not good at just solely to exist and to get their basic needs met, we squander so much potential for like other things that we could have in the world, and I think that's fucked up.
True. I thought about this a lot actually, because I was going through like a time where if I was like stopped going to school and I didn't know if I wanted to stay working at the casino and like just work at the casino and like get my own apartment and stuff like that, or go back to school. Obviously I decided to go back to school, but I was thinking about like, man, like why does this matter? Like why am I even going to school when like I'm making a decent amount of money doing this? Like it's such a waste of time. And like I was really thinking about, I was like, it doesn't matter even like because like the end goal, I don't even think this anymore, but the end goal for me when I was thinking back then was like, why does it matter like at what time I get a house or do, or like basically the end goal was for me was like get a house and like be happy with what I'm doing, but living in a house. But I don't even think that now. Like as long as you're happy, like you don't even need to live in a house, like have an apartment or like wherever your living situation is. As long as you're happy, like that's all that matters.
Right. And I think that's really the answer to the question is like it doesn't like it's not there's no formula for living a good life. Like it's all subjective to your actual
money helps though.
Needs. Money absolutely helps, but like we have to ask ourselves too, like do we want the value of our lives to be necessarily require us to have money? I would obviously say no. A lot of people that I disagree with would say like if you want to realize your full potential, then you need to work for it. And I'm not saying that like obviously people need to do things for society, but all I'm saying is that if you're a productive member of society, you should be able to choose what you want to do with your excess time and your excess energy. And no one should be forced to work so much that they have no excess energy, no excess time to do their own projects. And I think like finding your purpose in life is all about finding the things that make you happy.
What makes you happy the most? Like what gives you the most happiness? Strive for it and do it. Like I feel like a lot of people worry about it's like, oh, but this job doesn't pay that well, like I'm not going to be making that much money if I decide to do this job. But dude, if you love the job, like if there's something that you're interested in and like really want to do, just do it. Like I was worried about like when I was being like wanting to do forensics, like it doesn't really pay that much. It's like 55 grand, like 55,000 a month. Like I could probably do something else I would like but make more money. And then like I realized like, man, fuck that shit. Like if as long as I'm happy, it doesn't matter. As long as, like, if it doesn't feel like work, then I'm good and I can live off of where I make from that.
Exactly. Don't let capitalism force you to do something that you don't want to do, because like because let's just face it, like no matter how hard you work, no matter how much school you do, no matter how many jobs you do, you're never gonna be as fucking rich as those people. Those disgusting ghouls at the top. So if you waste your life trying to chase that goal when you know it's rigged against you, I almost feel like you're wasting your time and you're wasting your life.
Yeah, people worry about like, oh, I gotta get 8 years of schooling if I want to become a doctor, and like imagine like how miserable you are in those 8 years to become a doctor. And
like especially if you just don't like it, if you're just doing it because it's like a thing to do to become wealthy. Job. Exactly. Yeah. That being said, like that's not to say give up and like don't try to make a better world. If you
want to be a doctor, be a doctor. If
that
you want
too,
to change lives and help people.
And like we're all obligated, I feel like, to strive for a better world, but we're also obligated to ourselves to look around us, analyze the situation that you're in, and to just be as happy as you can in your current situation. Don't give up and try to strive for a better world, but just also live happily in the one you live in now.
You are the most important person in this world. No one else is more important than you.
Yep. Agree.
So, as long as you're happy, I feel like you have purpose in life.
Yep. And like and also like I would argue that to grow your purpose in life, the best way to do that is to try to help other people become happy in their lives as well. And that's not through like doing things for them. Oftentimes it's just like through community, through society, like working together, doing things for each other and with each other is the way that we grow ourselves and we grow our communities. And like that's an important part of living. Live not only for yourself but also for the community that you're a part of.
I agree.
And I don't know. That's my answer. I think we agree.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Oh, we need to shout out our Patreons actually first.
Thank you for still being a part of us on our Patreon, Grunt980 and Timothy.
Yes.
Or
Thank you.
still known as Zachary. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. And those
if you ever heard about
Patreon
the
pods are
Patreon.
coming out.
Yeah, Patreon podcast
Promise.
soon. We promise.
Wink.
Be sure to hit us up on Twitter at the Litz Podcast for any updates and giveaways soon. 2 more episodes, and we'll be announcing the winner of the